Y'all see the tournament. Let's
Have
get
you ever
to it.
looked at
Let's get
Jokic
to
and
it.
thought, how on earth
Another
is
Jokic
Jokic so
joint.
unstoppable? I mean, seriously, he doesn't fit the typical mold of a dominant NBA player, yet he's out there making his mark and breaking records. I mean, come on.
I'm saying
Even the most knowledgeable
his
folks around the
IQ.
league never saw this coming.
Bro,
But
I can't get into it all right now, but if you just go back and watch the Jokic reactions, you'll know why. You know what I'm saying? I told you why as much as I could to my best of my abilities. You know what I'm saying? Let me know why y'all think he's
Here
this
he
good in the
is,
comments. though.
Nikola Jokic, leading the Denver Nuggets to their first ever NBA title. Believe it or not, there are heated debates about whether he's already one of the greatest players in the history of the NBA. But why is it so hard to guard Jokic? What makes him such a nightmare for defenders? Well, my friends, that's what we're diving into today. We'll be hearing from the legends of the game, the NBA.
That's what I have a problem with. I ain't gonna lie. In terms of greatness, you know, in terms of greatness, you know what I'm saying? Jokic is not one of the greatest players of all time yet. He hasn't accomplished enough to be an all-time great. You know what I'm saying? If we're talking about being one of the best players of all time, that's a different story now. Because he's one of the most skilled and talented players we ever seen, y'all. At the big man spot especially. You know what I'm saying? But greatness, being good and great are two different things. Being good is your talent, your skill set. Greatness is what you accomplish with that talent and skill set. Come on, I'm talking today. I don't know why I'm talking today.
As they explain why it's an uphill battle to stop Jokic in his tracks.
Talking like
Before we get started, let me hit you with some
basketball
mind-blowing
nuts.
stats. This man has been averaging a double-double for the past 3 seasons.
Analyst, my fault.
Not to mention, he's been selected to the All-NBA team 5 consecutive times. That's the kind of consistency that demands respect. After leading the Denver Nuggets to victory over the Miami Heat in just 5 games, Jokic has etched his name in NBA history. He has now become the 13th player ever to win multiple regular season MVP awards and a championship. Now, let's take a moment to appreciate the sheer brilliance of Jokic's game. His style of play is a blend of elegance, power, and sheer basketball IQ. I mean, how do you even categorize this guy's talent? It's a beautiful fusion of Larry Bird's finesse, Dirk Nowitzki's shooting prowess, Magic Johnson's court vision, Tim Duncan's fundamental skills, and Shaquille O'Neal's sheer dominance. Jokic has taken all these elements and crafted a game that is simply mesmerizing. From the very beginning, Jokic's talent was apparent to all. His coach Michael Malone said, "From day one, what stood out to me was the skill level, the ball handling, the ball passing, the soft touch. He is a guy that works on his craft." Here's the thing. Jokic
I'm telling you, you don't get those type of things without working on it. Repetition. You know
is
what I'm
only
saying?
28 years old, and his career is far from being set in stone. After an unforgettable finals run where the Nuggets lost just 4 games, never trailed in a series, and even made LeBron James contemplate retirement, we're left wondering what Jokic's ultimate potential truly is. Jokic is a game changer, a difference maker, and a nightmare for any opposing defense. When this guy steps on the court, he's not just elevating his own game, he's lifting the entire Nuggets team to new heights. He'll expose every weakness, exploit every gap in your defense, and make you regret ever stepping onto the court. It's like he has some sort of supernatural sixth sense, predicting their every move.
That footwork
Some
was
sort of
crazy,
supernatural
boy.
sixth sense,
Get
predicting
crazy
their
then,
every
Joker.
move. But here's the real kicker. It's not just the poor defenders who suffer. Even the good defenders, the ones who pride themselves on their skills, are pushed to their absolute limits when facing Jokic. There's no room for tiredness, no margin for error, and definitely no time to react a fraction of a second too late. Don't take my word for it. Take the NBA's leading all-time scorer, LeBron James. He said, "When you have a guy like Joker who is as big as he is, but also as cerebral as he is, you can't really make many mistakes versus a guy like that." In the 2023 postseason, Jokic took the league by storm. He led all players in points, rebounds, and assists. Wrap your head around that first. That has never been done before. Not only did he fill up the stat sheet, but he did it with exceptional efficiency, shooting well over 60% from the field. Now, it's not just us praising the Joker, even his teammates recognize his greatness. Michael Porter Jr. said, "That was a historic run. I don't know how you can say he's not the best big man ever, really. He's one of the all-time best basketball players. I don't care what anyone says. I think he's one of the all-time best players.
All-time best. You see the terminology though, y'all? There's different terminology for different things, you know. Yeah, man, all-time best. I could definitely agree with that. He's definitely one of the all-time best players. Not only the best
post player alive, but also the best passer.
But he gotta accomplish a little more.
And who just knocked down an incredible 46.1% of his three-pointers in the postseason. Not to mention his defensive prowess against a VIP cohort of offensive firepower. And if that wasn't enough, he effortlessly adjusts his game whenever the opposing team tries to switch up their coverage. It's a question that stumps even the most astute basketball minds. Jokic's versatility and all-around excellence make him a nightmare to game plan against. Let's face it, countering Jokic's dominance is a daunting task for any team. They have to devise a game plan to contain him, but it's easier said than done. Jokic's ability to adapt to any situation is a game changer for the Nuggets. He reads the defense like a book and makes split-second decisions. Michael Porter Jr. summed it up perfectly when he said, "What's the limit on IQ? Whatever the number is, he's up there with his basketball IQ. That's the best way I can describe it." Jokic's basketball intelligence is off the charts. He sees the game in ways others can only dream of, and it's a huge advantage for him and his team. Now let's talk about Jokic's offensive prowess. He's not only one of the most efficient high-volume scorers we've ever seen, but he's also a master of multiple facets of the game. On the open floor, he's like Chris Paul, making precise decisions and orchestrating the offense with finesse. On the block, he's reminiscent of Hakeem Olajuwon, showcasing impeccable footwork and an arsenal of moves that leaves defenders helpless. And when running the pick and roll, he becomes an amalgamation of John Stockton and Karl Malone, perfectly executing the timing, passing, and scoring aspects of the play. Heat center Bam Adebayo said, "Jokic is very unique because he brings a different style of game and different type of pace to the game. You can't scout it, it is what it is." Even after delivering one of the greatest individual playoff runs in NBA history, Jokic remains focused on his team's success, and also his horses back in somber Serbia. The selflessness is evident in a small yet powerful detail. Jokic intentionally positioned himself in the back left corner of the Nuggets championship picture, rather than seeking the spotlight in the front row. This struck NBA legend Kevin Garnett as something truly extraordinary, stating that he had never witnessed a team's best player willingly standing in the third row of a championship picture. Garnett went on to describe Jokic saying, "Joker looks like the most humblest motherfucker I've ever seen.
Bro.
He's one of one. I've never seen the championship picture being taken with your best player in the third row of the picture." It's worth noting that Jokic could have easily made this playoff run all by himself, especially considering the criticism he endured over the years. Despite winning consecutive league MVP awards, he faced constant skepticism regarding his ability to succeed in the playoffs and whether his game would translate to the highest level. But Jokic silenced all the doubters, demonstrating his humility and focus on the team's collective achievements. In a world often driven by personal accolades and self-promotion, Jokic shines as a beacon of humility and a team-first mentality. He rises above the noise, letting his actions speak louder than his words or individual accomplishments ever could.
Come on.
When asked whether he sees himself as the best player on the Nuggets, he said, "It's hard to say because sometimes I am, sometimes I'm not. I'm cool with that. I think everybody else are good with that. The ball is in my hands a lot, so I make a lot of decisions, but I don't know if I can be the best player." Let's remember that Jokic has achieved incredible feats without having any all-star teammates, but we must recognize the tremendous impact of players like Murray and Gordon. Jokic's dominance on the court has forced teams to reconsider their roster construction in the Western Conference, and that's exactly what is happening in Phoenix. Opponents must invest in multiple big men who can handle him one-on-one, or else Jokic will simply overpower them, forcing help defenders to collapse and opening up the floor for his teammates. Once that happens, it's game over for the opposition. Miami Heat forward Kevin Love said this about Jokic's undeniable prowess. "He's going to go down as one of the greatest big men to ever play the game. He's not a guy you're going to stop." The sentiment from Love perfectly captures the sentiment shared by many across the league. Now, the story of Nikola Jokic will continue to unfold, showcasing his prominence in a league filled with immense talent and fierce competition. There's no doubt that he has the potential to capture a couple more MVP awards in the future. As long as the Nuggets stay fortunate with their injuries, there's every reason to believe that they will remain a formidable championship contender for years to come. So let's revel in the present and celebrate Jokic's remarkable achievements. But let's also keep our eyes on the future, because that's where Jokic's playground lies. There are simply no limits for him. He defies every rule and has already established himself among the top 20 players in NBA history. Now the question is, how much higher will he climb? With a stable ecosystem perfectly suited to his talents, the sky's the limit for Jokic. The trajectory of his reign is in his hands. Thank you for joining us on this NBA journey, and I'll see you in the next one.
Shit get me tight, yeah. I'm sorry. I know I was, you know what I'm saying, wasn't paying attention to, but this shit get me bad though, bro. But if y'all enjoyed, that's another Jokic reaction for y'all. You know what I'm saying? Click on the last reaction, turn on post notifications, like, comment, subscribe, and I'm out of here, man. Dumbass fucking blunt, man. Shit blowing my